Hi everyone, welcome to week 3. This is the last week of the define phase. So this week we're talking about project management, and you're also turning in your define presentations, which I have watched a good deal of. You guys have some really interesting projects, and I'm really looking forward to how those are going to go. This week the main topic is project management. And there's a lot of different ways to manage your project. One way is with a project charter. So here's a sample project charter worksheet, and I'm going to go through this with you guys. There's a copy up on Blackboard, blank copy for you if you'd like to use it for your own course project, but I'm going to go through it with a project that I'm doing right now, which is my graduate student improvement project. I've noticed that graduate students in the department, not just mine, have some trouble with various topics in research. So this may be that they don't know how to write a goal statement, they may not know how to write hypotheses, they may not know how to tell if a measurement is precise and accurate, they may have trouble writing. The list seems endless, and it really depends on your individual grad student what they have trouble with, but there are some common themes here. So I have started for my lab group, which consists of 5 or 6 grad students, a couple of undergrads, and a postdoc. They are going to go through this improvement project so they can learn these things that are to do with research that can help them be more successful in their research projects and in their graduate program in general. So my business case for this, if we look at the project charter, is that graduate students have certain knowledge deficiencies, and they need to learn the information they're lacking or pick up the skills they're lacking by the time they defend. Otherwise, they may not have a successful defense. And so the more graduate students we get through this program in the allotted time, the better the universities look. So my problem is, the next box down, that graduate students may not come in with all the skills they need to be successful in their graduate program. And this is an opportunity for me to teach them those skills. So my goal in the third box would be to significantly improve my graduate students' research, writing, and presentation skills. So the scope of this project, I'm not going to try for all the graduate students in the universities. I'm not even going to try for the graduate students in just the department. I'm going to work on my own graduate students because I have some buy-in to what they do as their major advisor. So I'm going to work on my graduate students, and that's going to be all graduate students for as long as I have graduate students. I don't want to stop doing this just because I get done with this year and yay, my current grads know what they need to know, but then I'll have new ones come in and they need to get trained. So my graduate students for as long as I've got graduate students. Now let's look at the project champion, sponsor, manager, and steering committee. Often those are completely different people, but for me, because it's just me as their major advisor, I am this project champion. I am the one that wants to see it succeed. I'm the one pushing it forward. I'm also the one sponsoring it because it's my research dollars, my funding that's going into this. It's also my time that's going into this. And I'm managing it as well. In terms of my steering committee, I have a very informal type of steering committee in that I may ask other faculty members their opinion on what do your grad students need to know? What do you usually end up teaching them? And so they kind of give me advice on, okay, this is what I generally teach. So they act as a very, very informal steering committee. The other stakeholders in this project are my graduate students, my undergrads and my postdoc, because they are affected by this. So a stakeholder is anybody who is affected by your project, and certainly my research team is. Other graduate students and undergraduates may also be affected if my graduate students choose to share what they learned with others. Estimated cost savings, this is not so much a dollar amount. I'm going to spend the same amount of money on my graduate students regardless of what they know, but cost may be in terms of time. They may have to spend less time working on their theses. They may have to spend less time struggling in the lab over a measurement. They may have to spend less time working through their experimental designs because I'm giving them the tools they need to be successful earlier on than they would if they had to figure it out themselves. It may translate into actual dollar savings if what I do impacts a graduate student enough that they can progress through their research more quickly. And that way, I don't have to pay for an extra summer for them or an extra semester for them, which does end up saving actual dollars. But really, most of the cost savings is going to be in terms of their time and their effort. If I look at realized or actual cost savings, that's going to be difficult because it really does depend on the individual student, and since we're dealing with human subjects, we don't have a true control. But the actual is, okay, looking at this student, how fast I think they're going to go through the program with a set amount of difficulty versus how fast they actually do. And so that's something I have to figure out after they graduate. Looking at the timeline for this, timelines are always important. The start date was early August, so that was the target and the actual date. I don't really have a define, measure, analyze, improve, control for this project because I'm not really using the Six Sigma for this. I know generally the baseline going in of graduate student knowledge, and so I've really knocked out the first three steps in this particular program. So right now I'm going through improve. And I'm going to have to keep going through improve because I'm going to get new graduate students and they come in at a set baseline. And so there's really no control phase in this. So this is unusual, but it's because I'm dealing with human subjects. So human subject research is always a little bit different. Keep that in mind if you've got human subject research in your job or your graduate program. So I don't really have target and actual dates, but my planned timeline is that we have group lab meetings every 2 weeks. And so in those group lab meetings, we're going to go over a specific topic that's related to their graduate study. And so every 2 weeks, we're going to have a discussion. This week, we're having a discussion on an article I found last week about responsible research and data falsification. So that's this week's topic. Other topics include just various things related to research as mentioned earlier. So every 2 weeks they learn something, and we'll keep going through. Eventually I'll rotate back once all my students right now have graduated and I have completely new students in, then I'll start over. Or if I feel that a particular lesson needs to be gone back to and re-emphasized, then I'll go back to. But generally every 2 weeks is going to be the target and actual dates unless I have some kind of business travel or it's over a holiday. Notes and lessons learned are something I'm going to be filling out, not necessarily after this project is complete because there's really no end date, but I'm going to make notes as I go. What topic really went over well? What topic seemed to confuse a lot of people and I need to fix? Lessons learned, and that's a very long end game for that. That will really be assessed at the end of each graduate student when they defend and they're finished. What did I learn from that grad student? What did they learn? So through this project charter, I can keep myself kind of organized with this. And I recommend, again, that you use the project charters for your own project to keep yourselves on track. This is not something that necessarily needs to go in your reports, but it may be a good tool for you to use as you progress through your project and work through the different phases.